We've been saying for a while that the anti-trans rhetoric is not going to stop with trans people. You know, the poem, how it goes, you know, first they came for the communists, but I did nothing because I was not a communist, and it just keeps getting worse and worse. There have been so many gay people who think, yes, if I just align myself with this anti-trans movement, certainly I will be safe. Like, nope, that's not how it works. We've seen lesbians getting accosted and accused of being groomers for having a child with short hair. Like, we've seen people getting bothered in public. You know, there's like, gay marriage only recently became legal in this country, and there is still a lot of anti-gay sentiment. And it's not even just in the US, it's also abroad, because in Italy, they have recently begun stripping lesbian mothers of their parental rights because they're going to be removing same-sex parents from their birth certificate. Like, only the birth parent, I guess, gets to be on the birth certificate. We understand that birth certificates are not a document that reflects the literal biological truth of your birth. It is a document for the purposes of identity. It's much easier to exercise your parental rights if you are one of the parents listed on the birth certificate. So this is a matter of public access and being able to confirm that you are the person in relation to that child. Like, it's an identity document. It's not meant to reflect the actual, like, objective truth of your birth for the most part. You know, adoptions and things like that, you can have someone added to your birth certificate later on. So this is not good. And Aaron Reed points out that it's clear that the intention was always to go after all LGBTQ people. It's not just the T's and the Q's. They want the LGBs to also be having a bad time. Walsh and others have started sharing outrage posts on gay adoption and surrogacy. Yeah, they fearmonger about adoption and surrogacy as well. Like, oh, you're stealing babies. Oh, what are you doing? And I also want to point out that, you know, it's like, oh, yeah. So this is like, here's an actual article. Italian prosecutor demands cancellation of birth certificates for lesbian couples. So it's happening in the courts, essentially, is another good thing to note. Just like what's happening in the United States, it is not necessarily that this is what's going through the democratic process. Oh, the democratic process. We elected these people. They're supposed to be doing what we asked them to do. They are representing the will of the people. No. Even notwithstanding tactics like gerrymandering, stuff like this is happening in the court system. Stuff like this, they're going, yes, well, we can just have conservative appointed judges rule in our favor, and suddenly we're rolling back a bunch of protections because a system has been rigged in such a way as to let a bunch of like weird priests and wizards make these decisions for us. Yeah, exactly. Causing parents and children trouble when they need to contact schools, getting in touch at the hospital. Like, it's a legal problem for parents and kids, causing, you have to carry additional documentation to prove that you are this kid's parent. Like, it's increasing a lot of risk for sure. And then, of course, Kelly J. Keene, who is like an absolutely fucking psycho level TERF. Only biological parents should be on a baby's birth certificate. Not sure why this is controversial. Just being the absolute worst human being. And like, yeah, this is pointing out that Kelly J. Keene is not so keen on free speech. Part of Keene's genius is that she doesn't just allow women to speak. She forces pusillanimous politicians to. Of course, you have to get in the pusillanimous because that's, that's how you talk about TERFs, I guess. JK, I don't think that JK or H. Joyce Gender or Posey Parker understand how cringe they are. That's like, honestly, at this point, if it weren't for the fact that they were so scary and aligning themselves with actual, like, Nazis, like, it would just be so cringe. The lack of the self-awareness. Can we buy some self-awareness? Like, excuse me, Pat, I'd like to buy a vowel. And that vowel is self-awareness. Like, come on, please. Hot sauce is totally a drug and I love it. So when we say these people are going to come after LGBTQ rights, like, we don't just mean trans and queer people. Like literally just being like, I can't imagine one single reason why someone's adoptive parent might be on their birth certificate. I have apparently literally never met someone who adopted an 11-year-old who eventually wanted to formalize the situation and have them put on their birth certificate. Like, oh my God. Because a birth certificate, again, the goal is not to have a perfect record of the birth per se, although that is part of it, but it is an identity document that you carry with you for the rest of your life. And it's an issue if it doesn't match, whether it's your gender marker, whether it's your parent being on there. Like, you need these things to be consistent, and like stripping you of the ability to have appropriate identity documents is a means of stripping you of having the official means needed to live life in a country that requires all this paperwork. Like, yeah, the goal is to be oppressive here, to be clear. There's no reason to do this. There is no accuracy that you're seeking. You're not doing this in service to the truth. This is just to oppress queer people. I still haven't watched Sean's video about it, but I know that he posted a big video. I'm like, I know that she's a horrendous fascist, so I don't really feel the need to discuss it that much. Thank you so much to my August supporters, including Tiago Nascimento, Mersh Rolvog, Amanda B., Danielle McDonald, Sarah A., Spooky Heather Sylvia, Robin Olson, Athiette, Kevin Young, Michelle Winter, Past Null Infinity, Jamie Jam, DZXN, Desi Quiche, Suzanne Maynard, Kitty Tick, Nova, Mr. Atheist, Elizabeth Bartell, Sojo, and Michelle Frateroli.